Okay, Christy, we're rolling. We're recording. How are you this morning, Christy?
I feel fantastic. I
Good.
just finished reading my Bible. I
Oh,
was reading Exodus.
you're reading Exodus. That's great. Well, hey, let me get. I think I'm supposed to give a little introduction. So let me introduce you. So to everyone out there, if you don't know, this is Christy Chester. She, when I talk about Christy, I always say Christy is a celebrity, but but not here where we live in Cincinnati because nobody knows who Christy Chester is yet. But I want the world to know who Christy Chester is. Um, Christy is a dear friend of mine, a co-worker. We personal train together. I've gotten to know her and her husband over the last. Christy, when did we first meet? When did we first have you and Nathan over? Was it 2017, 2018?
I'm guessing 2016.
Was it that long ago?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I think because I I come to visit 2016 about like May,
Yes.
June. So I definitely wanted to 5 season to work out. So that's probably we met.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. My gosh, we've known each other for a while. But
Yeah.
Chris, as you're going to find out, she is a wonderful, inspirational woman, a woman of faith, a woman committed to fitness and to exercise. And I think we have a lot to learn from Christy, and that's why I wanted to interview and to talk with you, Christy. Um, so I've been looking at your husband sent me your resume. And there are some things on there I didn't know about, so I can't wait to talk about some of those things. And I told you I just found this article about you in World Magazine, and again, learn more about you there as well. But let's start back at the beginning. Can
Mhm.
you tell me a little bit about where you were born and um, what the place was like where you grew up?
Okay, so I come from China, Hunan province,
Okay.
which is south of China. So I am living in a small village. I'm guessing there have like around 30,000 people there.
Okay.
So yeah, I grew up there and I'm a farmer girl.
So,
Farmer.
so
Yeah.
you said so there were about 3,000 people in your village.
Yes.
So
About.
very tiny. And so you
That.
said you were a farmer girl. Like, so what do you mean by that?
Yeah. I think most of the time I will go to the mountain. And I climb in the tree and pick some fruits, and I will help my parents planting some vegetables, and I even raise the water buffalo and a pig and the ducks.
Really?
So my childhood May is not it's not a different. It's not similar with you guys, but I kind of yeah helping my parents do a lot of housework and always being outside. So yeah, that's was my farmer girl story.
My farmer girl story. Oh man, well, and Chris, like as I'm thinking through what we're talking about, I want to tap on, I want to get into your talk about your faith. I want to talk about your commitment to exercise, all
Hmm.
those things. But let me just ask you this a little bit. With you love exercise. Were your parents influential with you in that regard? Did you see them exercising? I mean, what was that like growing up?
Well, my parents, they don't have any sports experience, and
Okay.
they have a little limited understanding about sports. Me too, when I was like 12, 12 years old, or before 12 years old, I didn't really, watch a lot of sports TV, and sports is just not have big concept in my mind. Yeah, so I think um, when I got a chance to become a weightlifting athlete, then I know more about sports. But before, I feel well, not like clearly in my mind what is weightlifting, what is well, you know sports like a ping pong, then basketball, but we just didn't like think about it too much.
Wow. I mean, so in the village you grew up in, I mean, did you play with other kids? Did you play games? I mean, anything like that? Did you have any exposure at all to that kind of thing?
Um, Actually, not really.
Wow.
We just play, uh, play as kids play. We're hiding somewhere, then
Okay.
somebody chasing somebody. That's not a, it's specifically sports.
Sure,
So
but you weren't thinking of competition or that you wanted to be a basketball player someday or anything like that. So that was just totally just out of your mind.
yes.
So then what happened? How did all that change? Because as for anyone who's listening in, you're going to find out that I mean Christy is one of maybe one of the best CrossFitters in the world, which nobody knows, which is crazy. But yeah, so how did you go from not even thinking about competition or sports to being one of the best in it?
So one day they have a weightlifting coach come to my school to pick athletes.
And
So
how
we are
old are you at this time?
uh 12 years old.
12 years old. Okay,
Yeah.
so you're just a kid.
Yeah. So
Okay.
in my mind, I have a picture is when all of people, when all of students, we have a class, after the class, we have break. So when we have break, I don't know, you guys know, Chinese people like to do some like activity, kind of this. So it's like a whole school. So we are doing that. And there coming one older man is a weightlifting coach. He was coming to pick up athletes. Then I remembered his eyes is like looking at like this, very very funny and like seriously. He wanted to know, you know, I'm guessing he's looking for somebody is a little, not too high, for my size is a little short size, and I think then when he come to me, he said, uh, please let me see your arm. So I give him see my arm because I think he's checking my um, body long or some
Oh,
bone density stuff like
oh,
that.
sure. Yeah.
I
So your
don't know.
proportions, bones, like that kind of stuff. Okay.
Yeah. So then he said, okay, after this activity, you're gonna stay here. Then we're gonna have some talk later. So that's the memory I had. Yeah. So the first the coach picked me. Yeah.
So I mean, so what happened? You said he came to kind of pick athletes and take them away. So what happened after that day? So did he say, Chrissy, you are going to be a great athlete? So let's go. Like, I mean, what happened?
Well, meanwhile, they also choose a few students. So have maybe 2 or 3 boys and 3 or 4 girls. So they have like around 6 to 7 people. We are after the activity, we stay there. So then they give us some like a test, like a barbell, like some weights to just kind of test how our strengths are. So
Okay.
actually, I remember they have a very tall girl, and she cannot do that much than I do. I'm short, but I'm so powerful. But she didn't. She didn't lift in. I don't know. I forgot which weights, but we definitely did some test. So she didn't. She didn't pick it. She didn't have that strong muscle. So
Huh.
so then we actually about 6 7 people with the coach picked around like 3 or 4 people go to another city to go
Okay.
train. Yeah, so that's why, but it's not a can happen immediately. It's happen maybe after like in 1 month they give announcement to our president, like a school president, uh, president, then saying that, oh, Christy was choosing to go here to train with lifting with us. Then you please prepare, talk with your parents. Then we will start from there.
Whoa. So did you know there was a possibility of you moving away from your village at this point in time? I mean,
I don't know.
what was going through your mind as a child?
Wow, my child is kind of like, yeah. Wow. and and age 12, I feel, you know, the age is not like really thinking about too much.
Yeah.
You know, you just go and don't know what's happened. So I didn't think further, and I I'm a little different. I feel I'm not so sad with left parents. So I just go, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And so you end up getting selected for, and the sport you were selected for was weightlifting.
Weightlifting.
And then, so what happened after that? Did someone come? Like, did you get picked up and they took you? I know you end up leaving your village, but so who came to pick you up? Did like a, I don't know, like a bus where the other athletes on it, and then where did they take you?
You mean, sorry, the
Is that your
dog is
dog?
breezy. Yeah.
This,
So your question is about say that again, please.
well, I'm just trying to imagine this because like your experience is so different than, I mean, anything I've experienced. Like I've never had someone come into my school and like test me and then ship me off, and from where I grew up. So
Mhm.
that's, I was just wondering, like, did an official from, I know you end up going to Beijing Sport University. Did someone from there come to like pick you up and take you away, or like what happened?
Oh, yeah. So you remember I mentioned that the older coach picked me from my
Yes.
village to another kind of a bigger city.
Oh,
Then
that was okay.
I trained there for about 1.5 year.
Oh,
Yes. So our daily normal looks like that. We training in the morning at 6 to 7:30.
whoa.
Then we need to go 9 to 12 to go to school to study. Then afternoon, then we have a like a break time, like a nap time from like
Huh.
1 to 2:30. Then we're gonna train 3 to around 5:30 to 6. Then we will have dinner, then we have a study again during the night. So that's my 1.5 year, almost looks like this. So I'm allowed to go once a month to go visit my family during that time.
Just once a month, that's it.
Yeah.
Wow, was that difficult for you, or did you really just really enjoy what you were doing?
Well, kind of both have. I do miss my family because this is my first experience to left home, but also it's very fresh to me because I can with a lot of weightlifting classmates, and we can go to another city. It's kind of like open my mind, open my eyes to experience different life. So
Wow,
both have, yeah.
totally. Because yeah, I mean, like you said, you're a self-described farm girl, small town farm girl, right? So you did
Mm-hmm.
not know what the world was like outside of that. And so
Yeah.
from that area, you trained there for a year and a half, and then what happened after that?
Beijing have a coach come to my that small city, how you say, maybe small, just say small city, to come to pick athletes again. Because one, I think is, you know, as people get people want to get more and more, how you say, athletes want to get more good condition to train, they have to go like a big city. Maybe their equipment is good and coach
Oh,
is
sure.
good.
Yeah.
So I was one day Beijing come to a coach. He come to pick athletes from this from my small city. And I was sitting on the corner to do some snatch and with lifting movement.
And how old are you at this time?
Uh, about 13,
13
13
years
years.
old, and
Yeah,
you're
13
you're
years
doing,
old.
you're working on your snatches.
Yeah, I work. Yeah. So he come to me. I remember I sit in the corner and I train and I just do my technique stuff. So then the coach came to me. He talked with me. We just kind of chat, you know. Then
Yeah.
chat. Then between I'm training, I chat. I do one set of weightlifting. Then I come to sit with him and he will talk with me. And I don't have any idea I'm gonna choose to go to Beijing. So I'm guessing they have like 6 around 60 athletes, including female and male. So the coach only only me to go
Wow.
to Beijing to train. But that's not gonna happen. That's not happen immediately. Probably is also like 1 or 2 months. Then they give announcement saying that okay, we wanted to Christy come to Beijing Sports University to train with us. So I was shocked. I said, wow, I'm middle level. I didn't like a very high level skill because I know there have some female is better than me. I'm just
Huh.
so and but I'm a hard worker. I always push myself hard and
Yeah.
train very diligent. Yeah.
So you think that's why they picked you out of all 60 is because of your work ethic and how diligent you are?
I think after I talked with my Beijing coach, he said I really like your personality, and
Really?
yeah, he said I talked with a few athletes. Your personality I like the most, and I saw you very training hard. I think both have one is personality, one is like hard work. So
Wow.
that's he tell me after I went to Beijing. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me just ask you a quick question. I know we're kind of going through your story of how you ended up at Beijing Sport University and then, of course, becoming a national CrossFit champion. But I wanted to pause just for a moment. Where do you think that work ethic comes from? Because it seems like that was something that's been ingrained in you since you were a child. And then it's so ingrained in you, just a part of who you are, that someone ended up selecting you out of already this elite group of athletes and said,
Mhm.
Christy, you're not the best, but you're the hardest working. And then, of course, you have this great personality. Where do you think that work ethic comes from? Was that something you've always been like that? Did it come from your parents? Where do you think that comes from?
That's a good question. I think I think God already have this purpose and this perfect plan for me. I really didn't think about any of this, and it just come naturally happen to me. And I think about that out of 60, around 60 athletes, I was choosing the only one. I
Right.
think God really have a good plan for me, and I didn't plan for myself and just
Yeah.
come. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, I want to get more into that in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But so you go from 3,000 person village to this bigger town or city. You're the one picked out of all 60 athletes of this elite group, and then from there, then you go to Beijing.
Yes, from there
Okay.
I go to Beijing.
Okay. So you go to Beijing. So where are you at in Beijing, and what are you doing there now?
Uh, I was I went to Beijing Sports University, which is the top sports university in China.
Wow.
So yeah, so I
So and what's the population in Beijing? Do you know?
population. Wow.
Like
Yeah, 25 million.
so from 3,000 to 25 million. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah.
Now, and had you ever been to Beijing before that?
No, I never come to Beijing.
Whoa.
And I
So,
think that's all of athletes' dream to go to that big city to train
okay.
with some very great athletes.
So,
So
so if you're an athlete with a dream and you really want to be big in China, Beijing is where you want to be.
yeah,
Yeah.
because international team is in Beijing. Everything very high level is in Beijing. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I forgot to ask you. So, um, so you were at oh, what was it? You said you were there for a year and a half at the
Yeah.
previous, okay, year and a half. So going to Beijing, then you're 14 and a half, 16 years old or
Yes,
15 years old?
I'm 14, about a 14, a
Okay,
little
you're
bit more.
14
Yeah.
now. Okay. And so you start this journey at Beijing Sports University now.
Yes.
Okay. So tell me what did life at Beijing Sports University look like?
Beijing Sports University is a very big university. We are specific athletes to train to go to Olympics. So actually, our focus is training, but also have some study like I would say half of day is study. Most half of day is training and resting, eating.
Okay.
So life is just like that.
And when you
Um,
say, well, maybe you should just walk me through what did a typical day look like at Beijing Sports University? I mean, from waking up to when you go to bed, what did a typical day look like?
So it's kind of the same with the one I'm in the small city. So in the morning we're gonna wake up like 6 or 6:30. We're gonna training either barbell training or running outside, running on the track and the field. Do like about 1.5 hour training.
Okay.
Then we're gonna go to the dining home to eat breakfast. Then after breakfast we're gonna go to school to from 9 to 12.
Okay.
It's kind of the same with before. Then after 12 we go to dining home to eat lunch. Then we have nap time like
Okay.
about 1.5 hour. Then 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. we're gonna training and a massage, and yeah, just like a 2 or 3 hour.
Wow.
Then we're gonna go back to eat a dinner. Then some night we're gonna head into to school, have a little bit your own study time. Yeah,
Okay.
like that.
My goodness. Christy, I mean, your life, and how many years were you at Beijing Sports University?
Wow. Let's see how, because I wonder, there is my middle school last year, like China middle school last year is which is the third year. Then after the third year you're gonna go to high school. So I'm middle year 1 year, high school 3 year, college 4 year, master degree almost 10 years
Wow.
there.
So for
Yeah.
10 years, you lived this very regimented, structured life.
Yeah,
I
well,
mean,
that's after retired. I was retired since I went to college, which means that year is I was 18 years old. So
okay.
think about it, 14 to 18, I was specifically training to go to Olympics. So that's a very routine. After that, go to college. Then I didn't train anymore.
Oh,
Then I
gotcha.
just
Okay.
focus study. Yeah.
Okay, focus studies. But yeah, so for a good chunk of your life, though, you were, I mean, living this regimented lifestyle. And it doesn't sound like, I mean, did you guys get time off? Did you get time to go visit your parents? I mean, what did that look like?
The first time go to Beijing to train, I had a 3 year, almost 4 year. I never come home. four
Wow.
year. I think it's 4 year, because I remember that they always have some like small competition coming, and coach said, "Well, 2 days give you guys break is not enough to go home. Just don't go home." So we actually didn't go home at least 3 years. Yeah.
Okay. And so during this, I mean, did you still love what you were doing? Or did it kind of get like, oh, I mean, I'm done with this. I mean, what was that like for you?
I like doing what I'm doing, but a little bit frustrating to me is I think I get the point is my level limited. You know, when some athletes really talented, they can go way high level. Some people just stuck in the middle of level.
Right.
Some people may just up and down, become because some injury. So lots of reason. But I think mine is when I training hard and but the level I still cannot get really high. It's stuck.
Yeah,
Whatever you do, you cannot have that Olympic ability.
sure.
So I decided uh when I was 18, as my coach talked to me, he said, "Do you want to continue to train, or would you rather just go to college without a train?" And I think about it. I choose to retire from there,
Wow.
because
Okay.
I think if I stay, it's just gonna the same way.
Yeah. Now, is that when you chose to retire and go to college to study, is that when you discovered CrossFit?
No, that's CrossFit is after. CrossFit is between so eight when I was 18, college. So college is 4 year. So I graduated 22 years old. So between that time, have a 1 year I got involved in bodybuilding.
Yeah. Oh,
Body,
okay. So you
yeah,
did
that's
bodybuilding before you got into CrossFit.
yes, yes.
Gotcha. Okay. And actually, Christy, I was just thinking for people who might be listening, they might not know what Olympic weightlifting is.
Mm-hmm.
Can you show us the different Olympic weightlifts that you were training to try to get into the Olympics with?
They have two movements
Okay.
for Olympic. You only compete. One is called snatch.
Okay.
Yeah. So one is called a clean and jerk. Clean
Can
and
you
jerk is,
can you show us those movements
yeah, of course.
or show me those movements? Yeah.
Yes. Well, if I'm garage, I have a barbell.
Yeah,
But
that's fine. We can pretend you have a bar.
so you can like a snatch is like whoop, you're gonna do this
Okay, so you're starting from a full squat and you're throwing
from the
that bar over your head.
yes, Louis. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and what was the other one?
Other one is clean and jerk. So you go here from your neck here, then you stand straight. You can like
And then
this.
and your legs kind of split. Is that right?
Yes,
Front and
split.
back? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So those are the two weights you're doing, and you do that with like 10 pounds of weight, right? That's it.
tampon. No,
Okay, what's the most you've done with both of those lifts when you were training?
yes, a snatch is a 75 kg, which is how many pound? How much? It's maybe one.
Oh, you said 75 kilograms?
Yeah, maybe
Uh,
160 pound.
it'd be 75, I think, times 2.5, right? 150. Okay, so you're doing like 155, 160 pounds, something like that.
Yes.
And then how much for the other one?
Other one, 97.5. Let's say 100 pound.
Okay,
100
so
kg.
over 200 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh! And Christy, and at that time, how much did you weigh?
I weigh 50 kg.
So a little over 100 pounds.
Yes.
Oh my goodness! So your strength to weight ratio is just off the charts. So I mean, if anyone's out there listening, I mean, Christy is one of the strongest people I've ever met, and and of course, nobody can really see, but you are pregnant right now, correct?
Yes.
So you have a little,
6 weeks.
it's a little 6 weeks old baby in there. You got a little bun baking in the oven. That's awesome. So even now, when I see Christy, when we were, at the gym, when I'd see Christy working out, I'd be like, Christy, how's your workout going? She's like, oh, it's, just an easy, light one today. And of course, she's throwing around weight and sweating, and it's awesome. Okay, I'm getting back on track now. So you decide to retire, and then so what? And you said after that you got into bodybuilding. Is that
Yes.
correct? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so what was the bodybuilding journey like for you? What was that experience like? And how did you decide to go from Olympic weightlifting to bodybuilding? What happened?
I think bodybuilding is just a hobby. When I saw one competition, I go back to my dormitory. I said, well, maybe bodybuilding, I can give it a try. So I faced to the mirror. I show myself biceps. I said, wow, weightlifting muscle still there. Maybe
It's still
I should give it a try. So that's just come to my mind. And when you are young, you want to do something. Sometimes you just no reason you do it. So I actually was the first female in my college in the gym training bodybuilders girl.
Really?
So I was every day I training with a bunch of guys to do like squats and bicep curl, shoulder press, and
Yeah.
pull down, pull ups. So yeah, and the hardest things is a bodybuilding. Bodybuilding's diet is really hard. It's almost I eat just like boiled chicken and broccoli and carrots and like the dry like bread.
And
It's
wait, so
very
you're
boring.
telling me you don't eat like that anymore?
Now, most of it's healthy, but sometimes you will add some like olive oil, like nuts, and then like yogurt.
I
Also,
hear you really like cheeseburgers.
cheeseburger.
Yeah.
I like a cheesecake.
That's hilarious. Okay, so from body, and Christy, I feel like I'm seeing a pattern in your life that you more often than not seem to really go against the grain of what everyone else around you is doing. I mean, again, going from your village, being selected as a weightlifter, then going to the city, being the only one selected out of these 60, then going to Beijing and a sports university, and then being the only woman who is doing bodybuilding.
Mm-hmm.
And like these things don't seem to, like, you're not kind of like self-conscious, like, oh, like I shouldn't do that. People are going to judge me. They're going to think I'm crazy. None of that seems to bother you. You have a goal, you get focused on it, and then you go after it. Does that sound accurate to you?
Yes, I think you are right. I didn't think about it too much of people think about me, and I just do it. And I don't have a lot of a theory, and I sometimes I feel my mind just not thinking too much, and I do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey,
So
okay. So then from bodybuilding, then how did you make that transition into CrossFit? Oh, and bodybuilding, by the way, I saw that you, which I didn't know, it looks like you won several or a few competitions. So
yes,
what level were those at? What did you win?
I win all of China the competition fourth.
Out of all China?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
You mean how many billions of people are in China?
Well,
Not that they're all bodybuilders, but
yes, yes, yeah.
still,
They are not all
bodybuilders
bodybuilding,
in
but
China.
one time I made fourth place.
Wow.
So, but I feel like bodybuilding. See, I think my thing is for bodybuilding, I'm a little too short. That's also
I'm a,
the same problem with CrossFit. Because if you're a little, see, I'm just I'm 4'9", the
4
tall.
feet 9 inches.
Uh-huh.
Wait, really? You,
Yeah.
I think it's just you have a big personality. You always, in my mind, you seem to be much taller than 4 feet 9 inches. My goodness, Christy. Okay, okay, but so how did you go from bodybuilding to CrossFit? What happened? How did you
Yeah.
get exposed to that?
So actually, after my college 4 years, I studied 3 years PhD. So in that time, well, my most of focus is going to church and spending a lot of time with sister and brothers.
Okay.
So I did one thing I didn't mention is in my college. Actually, when I don't do weightlifting anymore, I do a little bit of bodybuilding. But meanwhile, I study really hard. So I am the person was don't need to go exam to PhD, and school have a free member to let you go. So
Oh,
I am the person because my performance is really high. Out of 500 is I'm top three. So I was just study a lot of
wow.
in the library. So that's I got a chance to go to PhD. So PhD 3 years, I didn't do any of sports. Well, I probably off on do a little bit sports, but I don't have a goal and a focus. But about a CrossFit is after I graduated from PhD, then I worked a gym for like half a year. Then they
Okay.
have one of friends told me, "Hey, Christy, you major is weightlifting. See now the CrossFit in Beijing is really popular." I said, "How? What's CrossFit?"
Yeah. What's
And
CrossFit?
yeah, could you take me to go to a CrossFit box to see what it looks like? What can I do? Because he's strongly, my friends strongly recommend Christy, you will be good at this because you know weightlifting because you're already
Yes.
weightlifting. About CrossFit is let me explain. CrossFit is about you do weightlifting, gymnastic, and running and all kinds of like a body weight stuff. So it's like
Yeah.
a mix sports. So then from there, when he took me to go to the CrossFit gym, I involved. I remember that is 2015, 2016 or 15 October. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Wow. And then, of course, so you end up getting involved, you end up loving it. And something else I'm learning about you is you are you love learning and you love taking on challenges. So you didn't seem to be fazed by all of these different things that CrossFit had, right? Body weight stuff, gymnastic stuff. It sounds like you're just like, all right, let's go. I'm going to do CrossFit. And so you got involved. And then what ended up happening? Again, I'll let you talk about it, but you ended up going on to achieve some pretty amazing things in CrossFit. What ended up happening?
Well, you mean
Well, the competitions that you ended up winning.
oh yeah, I actually trained sincerely trained CrossFit about like 4 years.
Okay.
No,
No,
2015, 3 years.
less than
3 years.
Yeah, 3 years. So I had a lot of
Christy.
competition.
2 years is when you became the fittest woman in China, not 3.
Yeah, oh, that's 2018.
Oh,
2018. I I had a reputation is from CrossFit Reebok gave me the title is the fittest woman in China.
And the 14th fittest in Asia.
Yeah, 14th in Asia. So so yeah, and between that time I compete a lot. I always get um, either champion or the second, or yeah, I travel to go to Hong Kong, Korea, and yeah, to compete. So yeah, I just love it. But I think it's so hard. You need to make a sacrifice your time. And meanwhile, I'm personal trainer. I have a lot of class during the day, so I always squeeze that hour to go to a CrossFit box gym to
Wow.
train.
Okay, so I didn't realize that. So at this point, then, so you're done studying. You're actually into your career, and
Mhm.
so you're working full time and competing as a CrossFit athlete.
Yes, yes.
Wow, Christy. Oh man. So I wanted to back up just for a little bit, and thank you for all. That, I mean, going from small town village to Beijing and being named the fittest woman in China. I mean, that's mind blowing. And of course, as I mentioned before, nobody knows about it here in the United States, but they will, Christy. They're going to know.
Thank
Uh,
you.
so exercise obviously is very important to you. But you've been on a faith journey as well. So I was hoping you could share a little bit with me about how you came to faith in Jesus. And I thought it might be fun to ask you where you grew up. Were there Christians? What did people in your village believe? And then how did you get exposed to Christianity? And to
Okay, first of all, my village is not a Christianity, and people is barely can find any of Christian. So when I was little, I never heard of Christian. I've never heard of a God and Jesus and pray. So that word is just like unfamiliar to me.
Huh.
And I only know my grandmother will worship some like a local God, but that's just I know her, but I don't know any of the Bible and truth. So
So what does that mean? Your grandmother would worship a local god. I mean, what did people in your village believe? What did they practice? Who did they worship?
it's more kind of like some statue there. You will sacrifice some like meat and fruit stuff like. Then you kind of bow down like kind of this. It's all outside outside behavior. Then saying, oh, if we give you sacrifice this kind of meat, please help us to bless our family, have like a healthy life and stuff like that. So it's more like that. It's like a stuff you are worshiping.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's not true God they are worshiping.
Wow.
So
So, and is that what your parents practiced as well, kind of sacrificing or making offerings to the local gods, or what did your parents believe?
my parents don't have much religion things. Yeah, they just live their life normally. Yeah, they don't have. But we are trying to share gospel to them. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Christy, most people would say the only reason you believe what you believe is because that you wherever you grow up, that's what you believe in. Now, you believe in Jesus, you believe in God, you worship Him, and that's not what you grew up with. So, what happened?
So I told you, I was studied a PhD 3 year. So in 3 years,
Master's degree.
a master degree. Yeah, not a PhD, huh? I said it wrong. I
When you said PhD, it's like Christy, you have a PhD. I didn't
no no
think like
no no
that
no.
too.
Okay,
Masters, okay.
yeah
I'm taking my words back.
come back all of my PhD and change to a master. I
Masters.
just realized I said it wrong. Maybe it's PhD easy to say. PhD. Yeah. Okay, master degree. I had 3 years. So I worked some part-time job is fast food. So I worked in KFC, which is a Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Wait,
So
what? You were working at a Kentucky Fried Chicken in Beijing?
yeah, part
That
time.
cracks me
So
up. I don't.
yeah, so I think that's interesting. That's the gospel come to me. So one day, it's very sunny day, summer. They have a foreigner took a few brothers to buy ice cream.
What do you
So
mean a
I was
foreigner? What do you mean?
American.
Oh, in America. Okay.
So he's a missionary in China, in Beijing Sports University. he come to buy ice cream, and I was a reception cashier. So I said I very excited to say, hello, how can I help you?
Well,
And
you excited to say it because you're speaking English? Is that
because I wanted to speak English, I wanted to practice. So I'm kind of a little nervous, a little shy, but I also very excited to use English to talk with him. I said, how can I help you? So he said he wanted to buy some ice cream. So, you know, actually for that moment, I was have a kindness coming. So I said, well, these people are very nice, and I want to give them more ice cream. So I holding the ice cream cone, and I do. Usually it's 2.5 circle, but I did more than 4. Probably it's very high, and the cone inside very filled. So it's like a very heavy ice cream. So I handle them, and they give me cash, and the last. I said to them, I said, hey, hey, could you possibly give me your phone number if you have some English activity? In China, we are called English corner, the place you go to practice English. If you have like English corner, could you maybe invite me to go there to join you guys? He said, sure, let me give you my telephone number.
Wait, so let me back up, Christy. Is that normal? Like for a person who's Chinese to give their number to a foreigner? Is that normal?
I think it's not normal at
So
all.
what propelled you to do or compelled you to do that just because they were so friendly?
Yeah, they are friendly, and they are foreign, and he's a foreigner, and I wanted to just have foreigner friends to practice English.
Okay.
So I didn't think about more anything. I just said, could you give me your phone number, please? Then I asked, that's not usual in China as well.
Wow. So what happened after that? Did they call you up or did you call them?
After that, actually, we gotta connect each other. You know what's the interesting things is after a few months, I think is Thanksgiving. So they remember me, and they sending me message to saying that would you like to come to celebrate Thanksgiving with us? And I said, Thanksgiving. Oh, Thanksgiving. What's Thanksgiving? Sure, I can go. Yeah. So I was invited to go to Thanksgiving with them, and they invited a bunch of students. Actually, this American brothers, he's a missionary, so he always doing like a school students ministry. Meet people, knowing people, invited the people to have a meal together. So I am the one like also is like the same way to invited to go to eat with them and to celebrate Thanksgiving.
Huh. Now did you know he was a Christian at this point, or you
I
just
don't
knew that he
know.
was very friendly?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know he's a Christian. I don't have a concept about a Christian.
Wow.
So
Okay. So
yeah.
you go to Thanksgiving and what happens?
And I go to Thanksgiving, and they said, okay, the food is ready. Let's pray. I said, what's pray? I don't know. I never heard of pray. So, and all of people hand in hand and lock their head. I said, okay, I just gonna follow them. So they are
But you
praying.
had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, I don't know. I just follow, and I feel interested. I said, wow, after that meal, I got my curious is coming. And I said, does really have God? People are crazy. And people were just very thankful for you unseen God. And I was thinking a lot. So since there I was going to their every Wednesday night Bible study because I'm so curious. Does really God exist? Does all of students, some have believed, some not believed, why they are following Jesus? So yeah, that's kind of stuff.
Wow. And so you started attending this Bible study.
Yeah, every Wednesday night in a apartment. Yeah.
Whoa. Christy, I got another question for you, but let me just tie some dots together. So you mentioned in your story, why do you think this one guy picked you out of those 60 elite athletes in that kind of smaller city, well, bigger than your village, but smaller than Beijing? and he picked you. And I asked you, why do you think he picked you? And you said, really, I think it was God's plan. And so in your mind, it sounds like you believe, and I would agree with you, that maybe there was something else going on behind the scenes where that man picked you to lead you to Beijing so you can meet this missionary
Mm-hmm.
and come to know Jesus.
Yeah.
And so in this Bible study, then, what was it specifically about the Bible study, these people, or the scripture you were reading, that eventually led you to say, I want to surrender and commit my life to Jesus, that helped you to cross over from not believing to believing? What happened?
Oh, yeah. Actually, since going to Bible study, and I think the half or I just consistently to go the Bible study almost half in a year, and I I just wanted to make a decision, wanted to follow Jesus.
Wow.
So yeah, I think the Bible have a lots of wisdom, and I think it's a really uh when you compare with the this society life and with Jesus talk, it's different. Jesus is loving, and Jesus, and I don't know why I'm a sinner, and all of things is just make it very clear to me. I feel like wow, yeah, I do have envy, I do have like a heart, things people cannot see me, and
Yes.
even I'm a good girl outside, but inside is a sin. Sometimes, I I hope my weightlifting classmates not compete well. Then I feel, it's just that's kind of things. I need a savior.
Oh, Christy, can you still hear me? You just cut out.
Yes, I have.
Oh yeah. And so the last part I caught was you saw this sin in your heart and you realized you needed to say a savior.
Yes, that's only a part, and I think there have a lot of Bible verses about loving, about love each other
Yes.
and forgive. So I think I grew up that fellowship is very uh, loving group and a very teamwork together, because we are almost all students. So when we do things together, we are always together to go to church, to go to dining to
Yeah.
eat, and we are share lots of things. So I grew up a very loving and teamwork, and go to, let's say, we organization go to ministry trip during like
Yeah.
summertime, summer vacation time. So it's really gives me a great foundation in there.
Absolutely. Well, and Christy, would you say, I mean, just hearing how this group of friends impacted you, it wasn't just the scriptures and learning about who Jesus was in the scriptures, although that was hugely significant, but it was also their actions as people, like loving you and experiencing this love and this friendship. So is it accurate to say you did not experience that kind of love and friendship when you were growing up in your village?
It's a little bit different, yeah, because before I focus training, when you focus training, a lot of things is you didn't think about. Uh, Maybe in that moment you just think about how you train gets better, how you gonna do better. But this kind of things is really value things to me. So I think before I didn't experience that kind of love is
Wow.
between you don't know people, but people still really really friendly and loving, and they
Yes.
are just amazing. You just gotta you
Yes.
curious why this kind of love will come from.
Well, and it's something I want to just tie another 2 points together. Something you mentioned with your the religion in your village. You said it was very like outward behavior, where like it was all about bringing the offering to the statue, and as long as you were doing these outward things, then you're good to go. Whereas what you're describing is an inward change, that you saw there was something wrong with you inwardly, and that
Hmm.
Jesus, you knew he was the one that could actually fix whatever was wrong inside. Now, what's interesting is that led to good outward behavior, right? It actually led to your friends loving you and showing you kindness and friendship. That's an incredible testimony,
Yeah,
Christy.
yeah.
So,
As
oh, go ahead.
Bible said, our heart is the very important part because all of things is come from your
Right.
heart.
Comes from the heart.
So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Christy, another question I wanted to ask you is, this bubbly personality that you have. I mean, if anyone out there is listening and they've been around Christy even for 10 seconds, they know it's just like she's just like beaming with like light and joy. And it sounds like you've been like that for a long time. Like, but I mean, do you think did any of part of that change when you became a believer, when you started believing in Jesus?
For the personality, I feel I am how you say introvert. How you use that? I'm a outgoing
Oh, extrovert. Some people say
extrovert.
extrovert. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always an extrovert girl. So I'm not a really shy, and I'm not really afraid. So yeah, I think
That's just who God
God
has made
make
you to
me.
be.
God make me this way.
Yeah, God made you that. I feel like that should be like a pop song. God made me this way. Is that a pop song somewhere? Anyways, I think it has a very different message. Christy, just a last couple of questions. Um, really, I wanted to ask you. I mean, again, you are such an inspiring woman when it comes to exercise, the way you live your life, the way you conduct your life, but then your faith as well. I really wanted you to give some words of wisdom to people who might be listening into this interview either now or in the future. So first, I want to ask you, like, you have such a commitment to your health and to exercise. I mean, what do you think the key is to being committed to your exercise? And the reason I'm pointing that out is you're pregnant, you're still eating healthy, you're still exercising. I mean, you're leading online workout groups, and nothing seems to really slow you down. You still seem to be just as committed and as focused as were when we were younger. So what do you think the key is for people to be committed to exercise, to keep making healthy habit changes? What do you think?
Wow, that's a good question. Yeah, that's a good thing. Wow. I think I think knowing that God love you and whatever you do and what your reputation it is, God is always love you. So I feel when I do exercise consistently, I feel it's God is my strength, and
Wow.
whenever I feel or I success in Christ, I have content because God teach me a lot of things is that I cannot learn from this world. I can learn from Jesus. That things is I think as Bible said we are in Christ. We are not an older self. We are a new self. So I think it's in Christ. I have hope. I have joy, and I
Wow.
have a lot of give thanks things.
Christy, I just
Yeah.
want to point something out. Like, I was not expecting you to answer that way. But what's amazing about that answer is that is so antithetical to anything else that's in the fitness world right now. Most fitness motivation things, it's like, get up and work hard, like do a good job, like you got the power to do this, you've got the strength. Come on, if you're feeling down, don't worry about how you're feeling, just go. And like
Mm-hmm.
what you're saying is actually you need a strength outside of yourself. And for you,
Yeah.
that comes from Jesus. So you're having a bad day or you wake up late and you don't feel like working out. Well, really, because your hope and your confidence is in Christ, that gives you the strength to move forward, to exercise, to eat healthy, or whatever. Christy,
Yes.
that is what you just said is mind blowing. People need to hear this because that is so much more freeing than just saying, I've got to do this. I've got to get this right. Um, what you're saying is you just need to trust in Jesus, and He's going to give you that contentment, that
Yes.
inner contentment. I love that, Chrissy.
I think before I come to Christian, before I'm the thinking the way you talk about, but
Yes.
after knowing Jesus, it's really give myself a new self, it's kind of, you really longing to Jesus and you wanted to know him more. Once you wanted to know him more, then you will found um, how we live that please God. So that's the
Yes.
things this many years become Christians, gradually God really changed me. But before,
Wow.
I think I'm the person really wanted to get Olympics, really
Yes.
wanted to working hard and just use my own strength to do things, never glory God. But now,
Wow.
like little things, big things, we need to trust in Jesus. Yeah,
Yes.
because that's the faith we are have. So I always told me, Christy, if you believe in God, then you are making effort to practice your spiritual life. It's not the joke things, you are not just I believe, but not take serious. Maybe that's also be because my personality also very strict. If I I I'm how you say, I said one thing and I wanted to really get focused, and
Yeah.
God really me really
Mhm.
uh how you say, when he let me come to America, he really gave me a good great opportunity to grow my faith in many ways. So I'm still enjoy this kind of
Yeah.
precious time with God and knowing him more.
Christy, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And something else I just want to point out is like, it sounds like God really transformed your mindset. Like I remember you mentioning in your story when you were weightlifting, sometimes you would think about like either how much better you are than other people because you're a better weightlifter or whatever, like even maybe becoming arrogant at times. Again, maybe not even outwardly, but inwardly. And it sounds like that's an area in your life where because God has changed your mindset, has changed your heart, that arrogance and pride has dissipated at the very least, but
Mm-hmm.
it sounds like it's gone away, that he's actually
Yeah.
changed you in that way. It's amazing. Christy, also, I wanted to ask you, who are the people that most inspire you right now in
Right
your life
now,
right now? Yeah. Who are the people that most inspire you?
wow. I think my Chester family, including my husband and
Yes.
my husband parents, Jan Chester and Bruce Chester. So I think I'm marry my husband, and I have a really blessing family. They love me so much, and they are really ha- devoted their life to Jesus. So I think they are strong testimony to me. So I think they both three of them, they live the life is wanting to give glory to God and please to him. So they are really inspired to me. And
Yeah.
actually yesterday I just make time to study with my mother-in-law about Exodus, the Old Testament, and we are go through this book. It's called
Oh, cool.
this is talk what the Bible is all about.
Cool.
Yeah,
That looks great, Christy. That's a
yeah,
great. I'm gonna after we finish the interview, I want to make sure I write that title down and put that on my Amazon wish list.
yeah. So that's
Again, Christy, when I asked you that question, that was not what I was expecting.
oh
But like your husband, your father-in-law, and your mother-in-law are the people who most inspire you because it sounds like they're the ones who they're not only a model of worshiping God, but they point you to Jesus in everyday life situations. That's
yeah.
wonderful. That's wonderful, Christy. Christy, it has been awesome spending time with you. You know, we've been talking for about an hour.
Really? Wow. I didn't realize that fast.
Oh man, this has been great, Christy. Any other final words? Anything you'd want to that you want to make sure that people hear, whether it's about exercise or faith or about life in general, before we end the interview?
Yeah, I think they have a Bible verse. I don't know how to speak. I might have a Chinese way. Maybe I can find. They have a one Bible verse I really like. Is let
Yeah,
me see, huh?
take your time. I would love to hear it. But yeah, Christy, this interview is really interesting because I was expecting, that we might spend more time talking about your different achievements, which we talked a little bit about. But I would highly encourage you, if you're listening to this interview, look Christy Chester up online. You can find articles about her all over Google. Look at some of the records that, different things she's achieved or competitions she's won. But also Christy is a personal trainer, and she does, I think you do this every day, don't you, Christy?
You mean for what?
Live Facebook group for exercise.
Yes, I have live fitness Thursday 5 p.m., Saturday 11 a.m.
And you do that through Facebook?
Yes, yeah, Facebook, yeah.
Right. So make sure you check, look Christy up, and join her for those workouts. You won't be disappointed. Christy is a wealth of knowledge, and obviously more than just fitness. So Christy, what was that verse you wanted to share with us?
Yes, I'm Philippians.
Philippians.
Philippians chapter 3, 13.
Okay.
Okay. Brothers, I do not consider that I have made it my own, but one thing I do, forgetting what lies behind and straining forward to what lies ahead. That I press on toward the goal for the prize of the upward call of God in Christ Jesus. Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful, Christy. Christy, it has been so much fun spending time with you. Thank you so much for being willing to do this interview with me. And maybe there's lots of other questions I have, but maybe we'll have to do it some other time, okay?
Yeah, thank you so much to organization this. I would love to share my story.
Chris, this is great. I can't wait to share this with my social networks and stuff. It's going to be awesome.
Wow, thank you, brother.
All right, bye, Christy.
Cool. Have a good day. Bye. God bless you.